We're here in Fredericton in mid-October and we're about to collect from a Acer Negundo tree, also known as Manitoba maple or box elder. You can see that this tree is completely fully loaded on this video. All the tan colors is the seed, which means it's ready to be collected. So this tree is quite low to the ground. The branches come close to the ground, so we can collect it by hand using hand snips and a hook, or as Jacob in the background is doing, he's using a pole pruner, which we're just using one pole, but you could use more poles if it was higher. So we're gonna collect about 3 liters and see how long it takes.
Before making a collection, it is important to conduct cut tests to make sure the collection is worthwhile. There is no point in collecting if the seed is mostly non-viable. We look for 70% viable seeds for our cut tests. Silver maple, however, generally only has 50% viable seeds. Most of their maple key pairs only have 1 full seed. Therefore, you want to look for 70% of that 50% viability, which is 35%. If you do not have high viability, it is recommended to collect a bigger volume of seed to make up for the non-viable volume. There are several signs that a maple seed is ripe and ready to be collected. This first and most obvious is the wing and the pericarp change from green, or reddish color in the case of Acer rubrum, to a tan color. The second sign is that the tree begins to withdraw moisture from the seeds and they disconnect from the branch and hold on only by their vascular strands. These strands are so brittle that the wind can break them and disperse the seed. The third sign you can see by conducting cut tests. The withdrawal of moisture causes the seed to shrink slightly, thus detaching the seed coat from the pericarp.
So when collecting seed for box elder, don't pick them off one by one. When they're able to be picked this time of year, we're at the mid of October, they come off quite easy and you can hold on right at the base and just strip them. And that way you get a handful all at once. So I'll kind of come a little bit closer and show you what I mean. So right now the seed is on the stalk. Pull them off, the stalk's still there, and I just have pure seed. So now that we have made our 3-liter collection of this Acer Negundo seed, we prepare a bag to store the seed in to take back to the lab. So what we write on the bag is the basic data of where we found it and what it is. So on the bag you can see we have written the species, the date, the collector's names, or here we just have an abbreviation for our initials, where we collected exactly. So this is the Fredericton South Green, the GPS coordinates, the elevation, the fact that it's a single tree and not a bulk collection, and the amount, which is 3 liters.
So we're back here at the National Tree Seed Center lab, and right now we're in our humidity controlled room. This is where we dry down all our seeds. And we usually keep this room at about 25 to 27% humidity, so we have some large humidifiers and dehumidifiers running at different times. So I put our Manitoba maple on a drying rack, I've laid it out, and these drying racks have a mesh bottom so air can go through the bottom and through the top, and really you get a nice drying surface through and through. So I'm going to put this on the rack and we'll leave it for a couple days and then we can begin to process it. After drying down the seed, the next step of the process is to remove the samaras. And we do this so that we can store it easier and it doesn't take as much space. So the samaras are the little wings attached to the seed, and the way we remove it is by putting it in a Kevlar bag and rubbing it for a couple of minutes until the samara comes off. What you can also do before you start rubbing is pick through to see if there's any larger sticks or rocks that might have come in to the drying rack during collection. We're going to fill up one of these Kevlar bags and do a rub.
You don't want to overfill your bag so that it can properly rub together and touch the sides of the bags. It's okay to put the leaves and everything in the bag because at this point the leaves are very dry, so they'll just break apart in the bag as you rub. So we're going to pour this out. And you can see the Samara has been removed from the seeds. So the next step will be to put this through an aspirator so that we can get rid of all the dust. An alternative way of removing the Samara from maple seeds is to use what's called a brush machine or a mill. And this is good when you're using large seed lots, when you're trying to process large seed lots and you want it done quicker. So we're going to run through this. We're going to use this machine. One thing you want to make sure if you're using something like this, that if there's settings that you can adjust on the brushes, that you make it as small as possible because you don't want the seeds to actually get damaged. You just want to remove the Samara. So I'm going to fill up the hopper and we're going to run some seed through. Here I'm going to add our maple seeds. I'm going to turn on our machine. Start the brushes and slowly feed it through. Go very quickly. And here we can see Samara is removed from the seeds, but we'll still have to run it through an aspirator like normal. The next step will be to put the seed through an aerator so that we can separate the debris from the actual seed. The way an aerator works is it blows up air through the bottom and will separate any lighter materials by bringing it to the top and leaving the heavier materials at the bottom. In this case, the seeds are heavier, so they'll stay at the bottom. You may be able to see all the lighter materials floating to the top. And you can adjust the speed and the power of the fan to move heavier objects upwards. For thorough cleaning, roughly 5% of the seeds that are blown to the top should be viable full seeds. This ensures that the air velocity of the aspirator is strong enough to remove all empty seeds. To make sure that you're removing enough seeds, perform cut tests on the debris in the top to see what is empty and what is full. After removing debris and non-viable seeds, the maple seeds are ready for germination or storage. For more information on the next steps, Watch our videos on germination setup, calculating moisture content, and seed storage basics. For more information on the National Tree Seed Center, visit our website.